I never imagined I'd hear the words, "Don't come close. I need space from the woman I built my life around." Not in our kitchen, not with the smell of coffee cooling between us. But there she was, Sarah, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the floor like she was already somewhere else. It didn't start with a fight. It never does. It started quietly, missed texts, delayed replies, laughter that didn't sound the same. A silence that didn't fill the room but hollowed it out instead. We used to talk about everything. Stupid memes at midnight, what color to paint the walls, plans that felt endless. But lately, even small talk felt rehearsed, like every word had to be earned. She said she was tired, that work was draining her, that she needed time for herself. I tried to understand. I gave her the space she asked for, hoping she'd drift back when she was ready. But the more space I gave, the farther she went. She stopped holding my hand when we crossed the street. Stopped waiting up when I came home late. She was still kind, too kind. The sort of politeness you reserve for someone you no longer know but can't quite push away. One night I asked quietly, "Are we okay?" She sighed, long and tired. "Ethan, not everything has to be about us." But it was. It always was. When you love someone, your whole world tilts toward them. The way they laugh, the way they breathe, the way their eyes stop meeting yours. After that, she started spending nights out. No calls, just short messages. "Don't wait up." I waited anyway. It's strange, realizing that someone can live beside you and still be gone. Her scent lingered in the cushions, but her warmth didn't. Her phone stayed face down, always silent. And her laughter, when I caught it from the other room, sounded brighter when it wasn't meant for me. I kept telling myself not to jump to conclusions. Maybe she really just needed time. Maybe love needed air to breathe. But then one evening I came home early and found her sitting on the porch, scrolling through her phone. She looked up, startled. "You're home early," she said. No smile, no welcome. That was the moment I realized I was a stranger in my own house. Dinner that night was quiet. The clatter of cutlery filled the silence. Halfway through, she put her fork down and said, "Ethan, I need some space." I froze. Space from what? "From everything," she said softly. "From us." It felt like the ground gave way beneath me. I stared at her, searching for the woman who used to fall asleep in my arms, whispering about forever. All I saw was someone asking for a life that didn't include me. "Okay," I said finally. "You want space. What does that mean for me?" She shrugged, eyes drifting away. "Just, don't get too close for a while. I need to figure things out." That night I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark living room, staring at the empty spot where she used to curl up beside me. Every sound in the house grew louder, the ticking clock, the low hum of the fridge, her words echoing like they were carved into the walls. The next morning, I made her coffee out of habit. She walked past it without a glance. Something inside me shifted then. Not in anger, not even sadness, just clarity. If she wanted distance, I could give it. But I wasn't going to revolve around her absence anymore. I stopped texting first. I stopped asking when she'd be home. I cooked for one. Folded only my clothes. Lived as if she'd already left. Weeks passed. Eventually, she noticed. The small things. The way I didn't wait by the door. The way I hummed to myself again. One night she asked, "Are you okay? You've been different." I smiled faintly. "Just giving you what you asked for." Her eyes flickered, unsettled. "Don't be cold, Ethan." "I'm not," I said. "I'm just learning to handle things on my own." The silence that followed was thicker than before. She looked at me like she was only then realizing that space can stretch too far. So far that it turns into distance you can't cross back over. And maybe that's what she really wanted all along, even if she never meant to say it. In the weeks that followed, I learned what silence really sounds like. It's not calm. It's sharp. It cuts deep and stays there long after the words are gone. Every silent dinner, every word we didn't say, every good night that never returned. They all started to echo after a while. I stopped checking her social media, stopped wondering who made her laugh when her phone lit up. Instead, I began turning back toward the things that once made me me, before we existed. I started running again in the mornings, fixed up my old bike, cooked for myself, played dusty vinyl records, and read before bed. The house still felt lonely, but at least it felt honest. Then, one Friday evening, she came home earlier than usual. I was sitting on the couch with my laptop when she walked in, holding a takeout bag from that Thai place we used to love. Her eyes scanned the room as if she were in someone else's home. I'd moved the furniture, taken down her framed photos, and packed some of her things neatly into a box by the hallway. "You cleaned up?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Felt like starting over." She nodded slowly and set the food on the table. "I thought maybe we could eat together tonight." I closed my laptop, hesitating. "You said you needed space, Sarah. I don't want to cross that line." Her shoulders sank. "I didn't mean forever. I just needed to breathe." I studied her face, tired eyes, trembling lips, the look of someone realizing the door they left slightly open was closing for good. "I get that," I said quietly. "But while you were catching your breath, I learned how to breathe too." We ate mostly in silence. Halfway through, she asked, "Do you even want to fix this?" I thought for a moment. I did, for a long time. "But you can't fix something alone, Sarah. I kept holding on while you were already letting go." She looked down. "I thought you'd fight harder." "I did," I said softly. "Just not the way you expected. I fought by respecting what you asked for, even when it hurt." Something shifted between us then. Her eyes shimmered, but no tears fell. "You've changed," she whispered. "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe I just stopped trying to be someone easy to leave." That night she slept in the guest room. By morning, her car was gone. No note, no message, just the soft click of the door closing behind her. I didn't chase her. I didn't call, didn't text, didn't ask if she'd be back. Days turned into weeks. I filled the emptiness she left with small, ordinary things. New habits, new faces, new laughter. I went to work, had coffee with friends, even laughed without guilt. For the first time in months, my life didn't feel like waiting. Then, about 6 weeks later, her name appeared on my phone like a ghost I'd stopped expecting. "Hey," she said, her voice quiet. "Can we talk?" We met at the park we used to walk through on Sundays. She looked the same coat, same scent, but the certainty she used to carry was gone. "I've been thinking," she began, "about us. About how I handled things." I let her talk. "I thought space would make me feel free," she said, her eyes glistening. "But all it did was show me how much you gave, how much I took for granted." I wanted to tell her it was okay, that I understood, but it wasn't about forgiveness anymore. It was about understanding. "I'm glad you see that," I said. "But I can't go back to being the man waiting in your silence." Her tears finally broke free. "So that's it. You wanted space," I sighed. "I just learned how to live in it." We stood there quietly as the sun sank behind the trees, painting everything gold. Once, that kind of moment would have felt romantic. Now, it just felt like closure. As I turned to leave, she said softly, "You were good to me, Ethan. I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't." I looked back once. "You didn't make me feel that way. I just stopped letting you." Then I walked away before guilt could convince me to stay. Each step home felt lighter, not because I was over her, but because I finally understood what had taken me years to learn. Love isn't about gripping tighter when someone slips away. It's about knowing when to let go, without losing yourself in the process. That night, I poured a drink and sat by the window. The house was quiet again, but no longer hollow. It felt like mine. Maybe that's what space really means. Not the distance between two people, but the room where one finally remembers who they are. And in that silence, for the first time in a long time, I smiled.